Hello YouTube, Knife Critics here. I have a knife that I've purchased a while ago. I've been looking at reviews online but hasn't seen too many of them. So I decided to do one myself. This is going to be a tabletop just because I haven't used it too much. As you can see here, the blade is pretty much brand new. No sign of usage. For a knife as expensive as this one, I don't know if I will be using it too roughly. I'll probably be babying this one quite a bit, even if I do use it, so that's how it's gonna go. If you look at the knife thickness, it's not that thick. I don't have the specs, but you can probably look it up on the internet. This is the Spyderco Proficient, made in Taiwan. It's 90V steel, carbon fiber scales. As you can see, this is a pretty beefy handle. As you can see, very nicely contoured, hand grind from what I understand, and fits my hand at least very nicely. Very comfortable. It is quite different from the earlier version, the Spyderco Bushcrafter, which had a 01 steel and G10 scales, I believe, and the blade shape is completely different. That one has a saber grind, and the draw point is more towards the center axis. It doesn't have as much of a belly or upsweep, and definitely not full flat grind as this one is. So let's look at the blade. The blade, it's got a brushed finish. It's actually fairly rough, and I think with a blade geometry like this is largely intended to be a slicer. With a rough surface like this, though, it might get snagged up in certain dense materials, I would think. But I haven't done extensive testing yet, so more to follow, I guess. But I would probably polish this up a little bit just so that I make sure it glides through different kinds of materials a little bit better. Otherwise, it's 90V. It's a high vanadium content steel, very stainless, very high hardness. So if you can look at the tip, it's got a very acute tip. So brittle steel combined with a thin material, and it's still tapered to the very point, makes for acute tip, good for penetration, but probably not the strongest tip. So I wouldn't be prying into wood or do any heavy-duty carving with this tip. But otherwise, like I said, it will probably make it for a very good slicer. Skinning game, quartering game without cutting too much into the bone. Just aim for the tendons and all that. If you know the game really well, know the bone structure, then you should really do that. The handle. Now let's look at the handle. It's got a very nice lanyard hole. Definitely big enough for a 550 cord to go through. They are epoxy onto the blade itself, so there's no removing the scales themselves, redecorating, or any of that nonsense. You get what you get, and the hand finished touch on the carbon fiber is awesome. You just don't get this kind of contouring from any sort of machining, like a CNC machine or even 3D CNC just cannot do this kind of work, I don't believe. So this is all hand done, and that's why this knife costs so much. The materials are obviously premium materials as well, so they all add up to a very high cost. So nothing to say too much about the knife and the handle themselves. Like I said, I haven't used it too much, but just holding it and cutting paper and whatnot, it is very comfortable. The one thing I have to say is about the sheath. The sheath that came with it is the same sheath that they ship with the Spyderco, what's it called, Bushcrafter. It came with the insert, which I don't have anymore because I took it out. It came with an insert that's designed for the Bushcrafter and not the Proficient. And because of the blade shape is quite different between the Bushcrafter and the Proficient, the blade could not from the factory be inserted all the way, so it'd be sticking out like this. You have a handle that's about this far sticking out, which I thought is really odd. So I looked up online and a lot of people were saying the same thing, so I decided to take the insert out and just go with faux leather. I mean, the sheath itself is strong enough, so it doesn't really need the insert, and then I don't think you can harm the sheath anyhow by taking it out. So some people may not know how to take it out. It's fairly simple. All you need to do is insert some sort of a non-sharp material in, and then just write it against the leather, because the insert is glued to the leather on both sides. So you're gonna push a stick that's non-sharp, say something like a pointed chopstick or something like that, and then just insert it in, and then push it all the way down, and then that's gonna kind of break open the glue on this side, and then you do the same thing on the belt loop side. You insert that and then write the leather all the way down to the bottom, and that's gonna break the bond. And then what you have to do is get a long tweezer and stick it in and just pull the insert out. And that's what I did, and now it's perfect. So you can just insert into it, and you can see the fit of the sheath is very snug, and there's no chance of it falling out even upside down. And the good thing about this sheath is it's very silent. There's no rattling. The friction fit is awesome. It's a little bit on the heavy side, and then there's no water drainage on the bottom. So it's not my preferred material for sheath. Leather is. I would prefer something like Zytail or Kydex or something along the lines of a molded plastic thing. But functionally, for shorter trips, this would do. And I mean, even though leather absorbs moisture, S90V is very much stainless, so I don't really have to worry about rust. The only thing is I do have to worry about is the rotting away of the leather, but that takes a long time. As long as you properly maintain the leather and let it dry, and put some oil to it to maintain it, you shouldn't have too much issue with it. So yeah, overall impression, this is probably a blade for a two-bladed system. So this you will use for a dedicated skinny knife, say. Even though it's supposed to be like some sort of a bushcrafter descent, but no, I wouldn't use it for that, just because the thickness of the blade and the shape of the blade doesn't really lend itself very well for that use. So to me, this is more of a skinny knife than anything else. Okay, so two-bladed system. So skinny knife for your game, and then you'll have a secondary knife for the heavier duty chores, like just general purpose around the camp kind of knife, like a Bark River Bravo, or something like a ESE 6 to do wood processing and other stuff. So that's that. Let me know what you think about this knife, if you have used yours extensively, and how you made out with yours. All right, cheers, bye.